night was thick with silence as Emma clutched her flashlight, its weak beam cutting through the mist that blanketed the ancient forest. She had grown up hearing stories about these woods, whispered warnings from her grandmother who insisted that no one should wander too deep after sundown. But Emma was stubborn, and curiosity had always been her curse. When her friends dared her to spend a night alone in the forest, she laughed at their trembling faces and took the challenge without hesitation. She wanted to prove there was no such thing as cursed trees, no restless spirits haunting the shadows. Yet now, with the dense canopy above swallowing the moonlight and every sound echoing unnaturally, her confidence began to crack. The path behind her had disappeared, swallowed by roots and fog, leaving her with the uneasy realization that the forest didn't just surround her. It consumed her. The deeper Emma walked, the stranger the forest became. The trees twisted unnaturally, their branches curling like skeletal hands reaching out to claw her skin. She swore she heard whispers carried on the cold wind, though when she turned, no one was there. At first, she convinced herself it was just her imagination, the product of too many ghost stories and too much adrenaline. But when the whisper turned into a voice, a woman's voice, soft and melodic, calling her name, Emma froze. Her breath hitched in her throat, her flashlight flickered, and she forced herself not to run. Running in the dark forest was dangerous. Running would make her prey. Hours passed, though time felt broken inside the woods. Emma found landmarks repeating themselves. A crooked oak she passed 3 times, a hollow log that reappeared no matter what direction she chose. It was as though the forest itself shifted around her, bending and reshaping its paths. The air smelled wrong, damp, metallic, like blood hidden under layers of earth. She stopped when she found an old cabin slouched between the trees, its roof caved in, windows shattered like blind eyes. She hesitated, but the cold pressed against her skin like knives, and the thought of shelter was too tempting. She stepped inside. The cabin smelled of rot. Old furniture lay broken and overturned, and claw marks gouged the wooden walls. She swept her light across the room and nearly screamed when it caught on a figure in the corner, a mannequin, dressed in a torn white dress, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. Relief and dread collided in her chest. It wasn't alive, but it wasn't right either. As she moved closer, she saw the words carved into its chest. "Leave before the roots claim you." Her skin prickled with goosebumps, and suddenly the air grew heavy, suffocating. The whisper returned, louder this time, and the mannequin's head snapped toward her with a crack. Emma stumbled backward, bolting out of the cabin, branches whipping her arms as she fled into the night. The forest grew alive with sound. The trees groaned, their bark splitting open as if something inside wanted to claw free. Shadows moved ahead of her, flickering across the fog even when her flashlight pointed directly at them. Emma's heartbeat thundered in her ears as she tripped over a root and fell hard onto the ground. That's when she saw them, faces in the soil, twisted and pale, their eyes wide with eternal fear. Hands clawed up from the dirt, skeletal fingers brushing her legs as she scrambled to her feet. She screamed, her voice swallowed by the mist, and ran without thinking, branches tearing her clothes and skin. Eventually, she stumbled into a clearing where the trees formed a perfect circle. In the center stood a massive oak, older and darker than any other, its bark blackened like charred flesh. Carvings covered its trunk, symbols, names, and words etched deep into its skin. At the base of the tree lay bones, scattered like offerings. Emma's instinct screamed at her to leave, but her feet wouldn't move. The whispers were deafening now, dozens of voices overlapping until they became a chorus of madness. The oak pulsed like it was alive, and as Emma watched in horror, its roots began to move, slithering across the ground toward her like serpents. She turned to run, but collided with something solid. A woman stood there, tall and impossibly thin, her skin as pale as the moon, her eyes hollow pits. Her long black hair drifted unnaturally, as though underwater, and when she smiled, her teeth were jagged and too many to count. "You shouldn't have come here," the woman whispered, her voice the same one that had lured Emma deeper into the forest. "The forest is hungry, and it has chosen you." Before Emma could scream, the roots wrapped around her ankles, yanking her to the ground. She clawed at the earth, her fingernails breaking as she tried to fight, but the roots dragged her closer to the oak. She could feel them burrowing into her skin, creeping under her flesh, fusing with her veins. Pain ripped through her body as she realized the forest didn't just want her soul. It wanted her body, her life, her very essence to feed its endless hunger. Emma's final scream echoed through the trees, but no one heard it. By morning, the clearing was silent again, the oak standing tall and still, its bark slightly darker than before. Where Emma had been, only the faint outline of her body remained pressed into the soil. The forest had claimed her, as it had claimed countless others before her. And when the next curious soul wandered too far into its depths, the whispers would rise again, calling them by name, leading them to the circle where the roots always waited. Fear the forest, for it never forgets, and it never stops feeding.